Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV News. In tonight's show, we're going to be taking a look back over the week's news, and joining me in the studio is Michelle Lalor, editor of the Grimsby Telegraph. But first, here's James Dunn with the news headlines.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News. In the headlines today, police target the selfish few who put lives at risk this Christmas, and children from the East Marsh promote education through art. Drink driving can land you with a £5,000 fine, a 12-month ban and a criminal record. That's the message from Humberside Police as they ask people to think, is it really worth the risk over this Christmas period? During 2 months of patrols from November 2012, police breathalyzed 4,076 people, 843 of which were after a crash. Of those, 183 were over the limit. Casualty Reduction Officer Barry Gardner said that the number of drink drivers is decreasing, but there are still a minority of selfish people who are willing to put other people's lives at risk. It is that minority, he said, that police will be targeting so that they don't ruin Christmas for some poor, unsuspecting family. The first school in North East Lincolnshire to get fair trade status got a visit from an MEP. Linda McAven, Member of European Parliament for Yorkshire and Humberside, went to see how Oasis Academy Immingham students are working to get a fairer deal for people in impoverished countries. The school was granted fair trade status in the summer after 3 years of promoting the brand.
I think we all should care about the world we live in, about the shared planet, the resources that we share, and making sure that we all have an equal share. We live in a very unequal world, and by buying fair trade products, everybody living here a long way from some of the poorest countries can do their little bit, and that's why I'm so impressed, because I've been in classrooms here today and heard students who are 11, 12 years old and 18-year-old students who all understand that concept and want to go out there and make the world a better place. And I think, what better education could you have in a school?
North Lincolnshire's community champions have been recognised at a lavish awards ceremony. 47 were shortlisted for 22 awards given out at Scunthorpe's Baths Hall. North Lincolnshire Council received 156 nominations, which is more than the previous year. Among the winners was the late Jim Allcroft, who campaigned for pensioners' rights and was posthumously given the Lifetime Achievement Award. Two men have been prosecuted for fly tipping in Hull, which a city councillor said should send out a warning to others. John Hewitt, portfolio holder for Neighbourhoods and Communities, said that fly tipping was a blight on the city and warned that they will not hesitate to prosecute. Colin Foster and Ralph Creighton of Lymedale were reported to the council in June and finally appeared in Hull Magistrates' Courts this month. The pair avoided jail but were landed with legal bills of nearly £200 between them. 43 new ticket machines will make parking in Hull easier, according to a city councillor. Drivers can register their debit cards for payment as well as pay with cash at the new meters which the council finished installing this week. Councillor Martin Mancy, who is responsible for highways and transport, said that they will make it easier to park on the city's streets. A training programme to get young people into jobs has expanded into Scunthorpe. Cat Zero helps 16 to 24-year-olds looking for work get skills and qualifications that can help them land a job or get into further training. It has already run successful schemes in Grimsby, Goole and Hull, but the first 12-week course in Scunthorpe is now drawing to a close. They learn things like how to write a CV, food hygiene and first aid, and at the end of the course go on a sailing trip on the Cat Zero boat. Liz Redfern, leader of the North Lincolnshire Council, said it was a great opportunity that genuinely helps people who want to turn their lives around. And if you're one of those people, you can find them on social media sites or via their website. Communities on the East Marsh have been given an opportunity to empower themselves. The Class Act Theatre Arts and Community Trust has been launched to change the lives of people through education, training and by giving them a voice.
Well, when we first looked at finding a theatre for Class Act, we came across Welham Galleries, which is a prime building for what we want to achieve. But what we also realised is that the community and the area that it was based in was one of the deprived areas, and there was very little community cohesion within that area. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to expand our vision, so not only with arts and drama, but also with community type work as well, with whatever the community wanted.
The Trust also announced its Heritage project to record the memories of the area, which will be made into a play next year. And that's all from Estuary TV News. Join us for our next bulletin.
Now, we thought we'd do something different in tonight's programme, so we've invited in the first of our newspaper guests onto what will be a regular slot where we review the news and discuss some of the issues in the region. Tonight, my guest is Michelle Lalor, editor of the Grimsby Telegraph. Michelle has been in charge of the newspaper for 11 years and she started out as a reporter on the local paper before moving to Scunthorpe and then the Hull Daily Mail. Now, in the summer of this year, the paper was relaunched with a new look which included more news pages and sport amongst many others. Welcome, Michelle, to the programme. Now, for you, what stories have caught your eye this week?
Well, I think we have to mention to begin with why I'm looking a bit pale and tired this afternoon and this evening is because we had our first community awards last night.
Okay, yeah, which we've got some pictures here celebrating the unsung heroes. Tell us about that. Why is something like that so important?
Well, I think, you know, for a lot of reasons, Grimsby sometimes gets a lot of bad press. We know that. You know, we know there are issues in the town. There are certain areas. But on the flip side of that, Grimsby has a fantastic close community. That's what I've noticed in the 11 years I've been there. You launch a fundraiser, people raise money.
Yeah.
You have, you know, charity stories, people get behind them. And there is that real sense of togetherness and helping each other, which sometimes doesn't get the prominence it deserves.
Yes.
So we thought, yeah, we need to do this. We need to launch these awards. And I'd like to take this opportunity really to thank everybody who made it happen, both at the paper and our sponsors, without which it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
We had a great night. Everybody really enjoyed it. Our compere raised a few laughs saying the mayor was going to pole dance. She didn't. She
that
didn't.
would have been worth filming.
But he did say it was going to happen. But he was very good. That was David Wrighton, who many viewers, I guess, will know.
Yes.
And the John Ross MBE Fund helped sponsor the whole thing, along with a host of other sponsors, including, may I say, the Institute, which was very nice to see them there.
So it is a proper community spirit, which I think is important. And I noticed one of your award winners, of course, if we can take a look, of course, Pam Hodge, who we saw this week because of the Operation Shoebox.
Yeah.
Again, the paper has done well with that community spirit, hasn't it, involving? And obviously with the launch of Estuary TV this week, how important is it that the media play a big part in bringing the community together?
In a place like this, it is very much part of it. I think it has been all the way along. I mean, I trace it back really with the Telegraph as far back as when the fishing industry was in its heyday.
Yeah.
I think people really came to the paper for news, to hear about what had happened, to hear the tragedies that had happened.
Yeah.
A lot of those families have second, third, even fourth generations now still in the town. And I think that's why we have this close-knit community. And it's really important that we keep that here, I think.
It is. What else has caught your eye in the news this week?
Well, I think we were going to talk a little bit about a few stories we've had on issues about begging, about people being short of food, short of money, worried about heating and lighting bills.
Can we just hold that up there so people can see that? So there we go. Begging, of course, the police officer there talking about that people shouldn't give money to beggars. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think we have a lot of viewpoint. We have a really busy post bag actually at the paper, which we always have done, and really I take a lot of things from what they say, and really the issues that they've been concerned about is they don't mind giving, it's giving to the right people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we get letters in all the time, is how do you know those people who are genuinely in need from those people who are not?
Yes.
Although you could say if you resort to begging or going to a food kitchen or you're struggling, you must have some kind of need.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's really this problem of we don't mind giving, but are we giving to the right people, and is it going to the right places? And I think that's the issue.
It is, and I have to say, in the Hull Daily Mail this week, there was a story about fair share in Hull, where people who can't afford to put meals on the table are obviously going to these food banks. Now, again, we've got one over here in our region, haven't we?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, like you say, you get lots of letters to Viewpoint about issues. I mean, what's your take on this, really?
Really, I think it is just what I've said, to be honest. You have to be giving, you have to give to the right people. It's a combination of things, isn't it? It's the current changes that the government have brought in to do with bedroom tax, to do with the changing in benefits. They're trying to take a hard line on people who they say don't deserve it. But then how do you catch the people who do, and how do they not fall through the net? And I think that's the major issue we have, and we see it around us here, I think.
So this is it. I mean, people constantly asking for food donations, aren't they, to be able to dish out to people. Is it something we're going to see forever, do you think?
Well, let's hope not. You know, you really do hope not. I mean, funnily enough, at the Community Awards, coming back to that last night, one of the nominees was Kath and Ken Homewood, who again a lot of your viewers will know from the Food Kitchen. And they were saying how much more food they're giving out, how much they're helping people, the different variety of people who are going to them. I think they did actually say they were moving to new premises today, where people could actually sit down for a meal instead of just going to get their food. And when you think there were people there who can't, people in this community who can't even sit down and have a meal at the moment, it's quite a sad reflection, isn't it?
I think you're right, it is. It's quite worrying, that.
Very much
right,
so.
Next story. What other stories caught your eye? I think we were mentioning earlier, weren't we, about the fire cuts at the station?
Yeah.
Right, get that. Can you see that there? Fire station under threat of being axed. Problems with this then? What will happen?
I think again it's all part and parcel of the same thing, which is the government cutting back. All of a sudden, you know, in the last few years, we've been a society and a nation that hasn't had to worry too much about where the money's coming from, and all of a sudden, really, in the last 2 or 3 years, they've said, bang, you're not going to have this anymore, and all of a sudden we've got. It's too quick almost. The cuts have come too quick and too deep, really. There's been no run into it, if you like. And all of a sudden, you know, our public services are facing these real issues. And I think I wrote a leader on it in today's paper actually to go with that, saying that's all very well, we realise this money has to be saved, but actually if the only main station in Grimsby is Peaks Lane, you know, and you have a major incident in the Cromwell Willows Wybers area or whatever, it's a long way.
It is.
And I was a little late here this morning because there was a queue through Asda and I couldn't get through the car park.
You
know, so
roadworks in the town, hold
know,
ups,
and actually those minutes and seconds are critical in that situation, and I think that is going to be what people are very concerned about.
And I think things like that, and as well we've got a number of job losses, of course. Scunthorpe Telegraph about the steelworks.
Well, Tata has been. I know when I started my career in Scunthorpe on a little weekly, and at that point, I don't tell you how long ago that was, because then you'll all know how old I am. But they were employing, I think, and I went to school in Scunthorpe, and at that point they were employing the best part of 25,000 people at the steelworks. You know, and to go down, I think now there's 3.5 full-time employees. Obviously, there's a lot of contractors and a lot of associated industry, but I think it's what it means to the town. If the worst were to happen, hopefully it won't. They're hoping, I think, the high-speed rail link maybe, or the wind turbine industry, if that takes off, maybe that steelworks would see a bit of a resurgence, and we all hope that's going to happen really for Scunthorpe.
I was going to say, we were on the West Cliff earlier because there are plans now to obviously redevelop the West Cliff, and it's been sadly the heart of a documentary, and it sounds like Grimsby is going to be focused on as well.
I'm not going to say anything about that. We've heard various rumours, and we get the odd phone call saying Skinter in town, and everybody goes quite quiet and we don't know. You know, so we'll wait and see on that one, won't we?
It is worrying though, I suppose, in one respect, in that there is good going on in the town, but things like that can do harm as well, can't
They can, but as a local paper, and I guess as a local TV station, we just have to focus on what we do. Things like the Community Awards last night, and there is a blend there, isn't there?
There is. Well, I'm going to have to stop you there, Michelle. Thank you for coming in. That's all we've got time for. Join us again. Until then, goodbye.